Hey friends, so today I've got the Lotus Lead Solo in raw brass to show you. We've been kind of waiting on this horn for a while. If you've been watching the channel and watched all the Lead Solo videos, you know originally I got my hands on a prototype. It was a prototype that was in clear lacquer, and then I think I got my hands on a silver prototype, and then the production models have come through, and we've had the silver plate and the brushed lacquer come in, and we've been waiting on the raw brass horns to come through. And my understanding is that there's been some delays because they were having a hard time just getting the bells to look the way they want. The raw brass is brushed, and then it's not lacquered at all. And so with that, it actually kind of makes it a little bit tricky to get the appearance and everything right. So, but these have finally come in and they look really cool and they sound great. So today I'm going to just sort of give you a run through. I did a quick unboxing video of when they first arrived, but this one I'll just kind of go through in a little bit better setting where you can see it. So this is the same model horn as the other Lead Solos. This one just isn't plated or lacquered. So let's talk about that real quick. Sound-wise, this is going to essentially sound identical to like the silver plate. So I do feel that the lacquer at lower volumes reduces some of the upper harmonics, and which gives it a warmer, darker sound at lower volumes, and then at high volumes, you can't tell the difference anymore. I feel like, the silver plate should be for someone who wants bright sound and likes the appearance of silver plate, as the dog keeps walking by the camera, shaking the camera, who likes the appearance of silver plate, wants the protection of a plate over their instrument, but, basically you just like the look of silver. So that's a great choice for that. The brushed lacquer, if you're someone who would appreciate having a little bit warmer sound at lower volumes, but also you just generally love this aesthetic and the way this looks, and you want it to basically look like this, I would say forever. Lacquers don't last forever, but you know what I mean. Like you basically want it to always look like this. The lacquer is a great choice for that. Certain skin types at a certain amount of different types of acidities do better with lacquer than they do with plates, so that might be another thing to kind of keep in mind as well. You'll probably have your own experience on that. And then if you're the kind of person who you want an instrument that will, over time, through the natural patina process of brass, will have an instrument that looks unique, and just kind of like a one-of-a-kind type of look, a duller look, a look where everything just sort of kind of gets mottled and those dark browns and things like that, then the raw brass can be a nice choice for you. Now, I'm stressing this because I've sold a bunch of raw brass instruments through, from Lotus and AR Resonance, and about half the time people get this raw brass instrument and then they start asking, well, how do I keep the instrument looking nice? Like, how do I keep it looking like this? I'm like, you lacquer the stupid thing like that. You should have got it in lacquer. If you want it to always look like this, you really should get one in lacquer. If you get a raw brass, if you want it to eventually patina and look different. That's not to say you can't polish a raw brass instrument. You can, but you're going to be getting like brasso and like polishing it all the time. And you can't just get like a polish cloth and wipe it down or something like that. So it's just more trouble than it's worth. So I just want to make sure that's clear. So if you end up ordering one of these, that you know what you're getting, and that you're not disappointed. So all right, so let's talk about it. So the Lead Solo, I think you all know this by now, so I'll just run through it quickly. This is the kind of Lotus design language, made in China. With a few, really a couple of minor changes. Obviously, the materials are coming from China. The biggest cost savings is the valve section. And rather than using the MAW valves out of Germany, they're using a Chinese valve section. But these valves are really nice. And in Lotus's internal tests, they found that the Chinese valve block here has a higher compression rating than even the German valves. So now the German MAW valves have some performance enhancements due to the design of the MAW valves, but in terms of just like functionality and tolerance and valve compression, these valves are right on point. So you're really not giving up a whole lot unless the improved intonation on the extended fingerings is meaningful to you. But beyond that, you're not giving up a whole lot. Heavyweight receiver, machined lead pipes, the combination of nickel silver, phosphor bronze, and yellow brass. With the Lead Solo, we've got a large 5.5-inch yellow brass one-piece bell and tail that runs all the way through. So that's yellow brass. And heavyweight valve cap on the third cap, which is sort of a Lotus tradition, Lotus standard. And this nice Lotus case as well. No mouthpiece or anything included. Lotus is currently not making mouthpieces, but they are actively working on that, trying to fix that and get it where they are making mouthpieces again soon. So a couple of fun things about this horn. So obviously it's the Lead Solo. This has essentially the same geometry as the Lotus Solo model, but with the one-piece yellow brass bell, it gives it a little more versatility. And so it's designed where it will have, being all yellow brass, it'll have a little bit more of that brilliance in the sound. But this isn't like truly just a lead horn, like a super bright lead horn. Matter of fact, we've sold a bunch of the Lead Solos. It's been the most popular trumpet I've ever sold in my 30-year career. And I've had 2 returned. And the people that returned them, it's because the instrument really wasn't bright enough. They were wanting something like really, really, really bright. And Adam recently just played the Artunian Trumpet Concerto with an ensemble in Spain playing this horn. So he really enjoys this horn quite a bit. So while it's called the Lead Solo, it's not just a lead horn. So for someone who's also looking for just a general purpose all-around horn, this instrument would actually be a really good choice for that. So you can use this instrument as well. If you're wanting it for that, I'm probably using this phosphor bronze slide, which will bring out some of those lower harmonics and reduce some of the upper harmonics. And if you want it in its brightest configuration, you'll put the brass slide in. It comes with both tuning slides. So, so it's a pretty versatile instrument. With this big broad bell, it's just going to give you like a wider cone of sound. And so I think that's kind of the lead aspect of it. The yellow brass gives you a nice core, but also like shimmering highs. And then with just having this bigger cone, you just are getting like a bigger sound. And so because of that, I think that makes it really popular. So first notes of the day, but I'll just kind of play a little bit so you can hear it. I've got a lead mouthpiece in here. And and right now I have the phosphor bronze tuning slide, so you'll definitely hear, in addition to the dog's toenails clicking on the wood floor, you'll hear the brilliance of the sound. So we're definitely Sarge approved there, so we know he likes that. Let's see what if I notice a change when I swap tuning slides. Because I'm using this really shallow mouthpiece, I'm not sure that I'm going to notice much of a difference. I would feel like the mouthpiece is probably doing most of the work here, but I've been wrong on this before, so let's just check it out and see. So this configuration here will be the maximum brightness. Slide fit is excellent. You can see I'm holding the instrument awkwardly and that tuning slide just went right in. Okay, well, yeah, I was wrong. It's quite a bit brighter. Yep. So that does make a noticeable difference even with this super shallow mouthpiece. So I was wrong on that. Let's swap over back to the phosphor bronze slide. phosphor bronze slide, in addition to being phosphor bronze, is going to have the yellow brass legs. And the yellow brass tuning slide is going to have nickel silver legs, which is part of what's adding to all that brilliance. Okay, let's grab a mouthpiece that is more suitable. This will work. Just grabbing the tabletop of mouthpieces here. So with this combination, with just like a nice, deep kind of concert mouthpiece. Been a long time since I played the art tuning. I do not remember that. It's been 20-something years since I played it. Anyway, yeah, so you can hear like a really lush, beautiful sound. Very kind of Bach Yamaha-like, but with a kind of bigger, broader sound. Better intonation than what we typically would see on like a Bach or something like that. All those notes tend to be a little wonky on those horns, and it sounds really good. So yeah, a versatile instrument, more versatile instrument than what you might think. And because of that, the couple of returns that I've had, it's been because of that reason. They feel like the horn's just not light and bright enough. But again, 2 returns out of the, I mean, I don't know how many of these I've sold, but a lot, is a very, very low number. But I do think it's something that you should be aware of. If you are wanting the brightest possible instrument you can possibly find, there are other instruments out there that are brighter. But if you're wanting something with nice core that has a little bit more versatility, so that if you are having to play, in a section as well, that it's suitable for that, this horn does it. So currently, all of the lead solo instruments, these are still pre-sold, so that means that I don't have them in stock. Customers are ordering them and for future delivery. Currently, deliveries are taking about, probably a couple of months, depending a little bit on the finish. Right now, we've got a delay on the lacquer finished instruments, only because they can't lacquer in extreme humidity. And so that's causing a delay for delivery. But I wouldn't let that deter you. I know I've talked with some of you guys, and some of you are so anxious to get your hands on this horn that you're just like, I don't even care what finish, just send me whatever, I just want to have one. And I understand that mentality, but I would encourage you to think long term about what would ultimately make you happier in terms of the appearance and finish, and just be a little bit patient to get the one that you want. But if you truly don't care, because there's some folks who are like, doesn't matter to me what it is, then getting first available can be fine. But you can head over to ErnieWilliamson.com, and it's a $500 deposit that does apply towards purchase. You can, sorry, let me finish that out. So $500 applies towards purchase. The instrument's $29.99 currently. It'll go up to $3,500 here in a couple of months. So if you want to get one, reserve it now. You will reserve it, and the instruments should be available within a couple of months of when you order. That's about what the timeline has been so far. They are ramping up production, so that might pick up at some point. The goal would be at some point to have it on your, have it in stock where you could come play it. But for the time being, Ernie Williamson Music is your exclusive North American distributor for this, because we're just trying to get as many horns out there as possible. You do have return options through Ernie Williamson Music. Essentially, if you order through us, you're going to get free shipping and no sales tax as long as you don't live in Missouri or Kansas. If you live in Missouri or Kansas, you do have to pay sales tax. If you want to return it, there is a restocking fee. That restocking fee is about 10%, give or take. Essentially, you have to reimburse us for the shipping costs. You're going to essentially just pay us whatever costs we incurred when we shipped it to you, okay? We try to do everything like super, super fair and super, super easy. So like if it costs us $70 to ship a horn to you or $50, you got to pay for that. If you paid whatever the processing fees for your payment, assuming those are non-refundable, like for example, if you pay through PayPal, those fees that PayPal charges are non-refundable to the vendor. So if you end up returning it, I still have to pay those PayPal fees, which means you need to pay those PayPal fees. So, and then you'd have to pay for return shipping to get the instrument back to us. So we're not like making money on the restock fees. We just don't want to lose money because you tried the horn. Does that make sense? So it ends up being about 10%, sometimes less. And if you want to, find out how can I make my restock fee the lowest as possible, you can email me at donovan@erniewilliamson.com, and I can tell you like here's the ways to make this as cheap as possible. But for now, your best bet is to order them. Like I said, out of the dozens of horns we've sold, I've only had 2 returns. So I think as long as you're serious about getting an instrument, I don't think that you'll likely be unhappy with it or want to return it. Now, that being said, just because you hear Adam Rappa play this thing, or Ryan Kaiser play this thing, or Marcus Printup play this thing, does not mean that you're going to sound like those guys, okay? If you have a hard time playing a high C, this instrument's not going to give you a double C, okay? If you have a hard time playing for more than 5 minutes, this instrument's not going to give you 3 hours of endurance, okay? So I want to be candid and frank, because I do think every once in a while, someone just has unrealistic expectations of the equipment. There is no equipment that will make you play like Adam Rappa, okay? Only practice and genetics and probably a little bit of luck will get you to that point. But the instruments are very good, and I do think equipment matters. I know for me, the right equipment makes a lot of difference between what I feel like I can comfortably pull off and what I can't. So it does matter, but just don't expect that like you're going to get this thing and magically play like some kind of all-star. So anyway, all right, friends, that's enough for today's super long video. The raw brass Lotus instrument, really, really cool for those of you who appreciate that. Go check it out over at erniewilliamson.com. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.